Alright, doing a new Jeep project, putting on some Smittybilt XRC tube fenders. This is the instructions that were in the box. First thing they show is a template that should be in the box, but it didn't come with it. So I was reading through the instructions, and the pictures and stuff were kind of hard to see, so I actually got on the internet, printed out some good instructions. I had some good pictures on it. First thing you do is you take your fender flares off. That probably took the longest part, is getting those off, all the mud and stuff on it. You got to make sure you take that off too. As you can see, my sliders are in the way, so you got to take the sliders off to get those off. But that's the first thing. I've already done one side. I've already cut it. I kind of just took a marker, marked it up, used my own template. I used a 4-inch grinding wheel with a disc on it to cut it. It was a little bit easier and faster than using a hacksaw or a jigsaw or anything like that. So that's what it looks like without a fender. Kind of freaks you out at first, cutting into your Jeep like that, but that's what you got to do. Get it done. I still need to do some trimming on it so it fits better. I did have to do some trimming on this box right here so the tube would fit in there. You got to take all the bolts off for the inner fender right there, so the new one will go on. The front, you got to take all the front fender bolts off. When you cut this, you got to make sure you keep this bracket in here. That's where your lock goes for your hood latch. You got to make sure that these bolts right here, you take those off and loosen those so you can actually cut this part right here. Just removing that bolt on the top makes it to where you can't actually get a blade or anything in it. So you got to make sure you take that bolt out and these bolts out on the bottom here. The confusing part of the cut was there's a brace that goes right here, if I should cut on the other side of the brace or not. That brace actually gets removed, so you don't have a obstruction right here, and it looks kind of goofy. So I went ahead and cut that bracket off. Don't be afraid. It's only metal. Worst case, you got to add some more metal to it if you screw up. But you want to make sure that there's a lip right here. That part's really not attached to anything. So later on, I might go ahead and tack that in. I'm not sure. I think it goes in a little slot where the tube is, and it holds it in place, but I haven't got that far yet. Another thing that I noticed that's kind of weird is to fit and finish your tube fenders. This should be bolted up so it's in place, but you can't do that because the bolts are actually in the way. So what I'm thinking about doing is actually bolting this back up and then putting a tack on here so it holds it. But that's what it is. That's what it looks like with your fender cut off. Can't wait until it's done. It's looking good.